Diesel went up last week, but are bus fares next? Belize Bus Association tells governments something's gotta give. And we'll talk to the father of a man who died in a fatal accident. Also, she was the fourth runner-up in the Miss Universe pageant. But when Miss Ivory Coast Olivia Yasse came to Belize this weekend, a tour guide targeted her with a racial slur. We'll talk to the target and the offender. Plus, he was accused of killing his brother and his wife and then taking a picture with their bodies. But Miguelito Encalada tells the court it wasn't him. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Monday, March 30th, 2026. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indira Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
At Cellular World, we believe technology shouldn't just be functional. It should make your home uniquely yours. Design your smart home with the full range of Samsung appliances and TVs. Equip your kitchen with smart and stylish fridges, advanced microwaves, and whisper-quiet dishwashers, bringing smart living to the heart of your home. Make daily tasks simple with efficient smart washers, powerful dryers, or an all-in-one laundry hub that adapts to your lifestyle. Experience true-to-life colors and spot-on sound with a Samsung Q LED Smart TV. Connect all your spaces instantly with the Smart Thing app for seamless control wherever you go. Get all your Samsung products today with the peace of mind that only the 1-year warranty from the authorized distributor can give you. So stop by your favorite location and start designing your smart home today, only at Cellular World.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
Here are some interesting facts. Did you know the national ID is a unique number that connects your record across ministries? Trusted proof of identity. A tool to access public service faster. A gateway to digital government services. And a way to eliminate online fraud and identity theft.
The Belize National ID.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
The government says Honorable Lee Mark lied. Here are the facts. Since taking office in March 2025, not one single resident of Mesopotamia was recommended by him under the housing program. Area representatives don't approve homes. They recommend names. He was never asked, never consulted, never included. The homes they're bragging about, approved before he took office. So why the attack? Because they don't want you asking the real question. They promised homes at $30,000, then said $60,000. Now the truth, over $110,000 per home. That's a massive increase. This isn't about Lee Mark. It's about your money and the truth.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention.
No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Last week, the pump price of diesel went up by 20% per gallon, and now the Belize Bus Association is calling on government to increase bus fares. The BBA today wrote to Transport Minister Louis Abney requesting government intervention following recent increases in fuel prices. In the letter, the association says the rising cost of fuel and vehicle parts has significantly increased operational expenses for bus companies across the country. The BBA is asking the government to consider several options to ease the burden of operators. Among the proposals are the exemption of general sales tax on fuel, tires, and parts, the provision of government subsidies similar to those provided during the COVID-19 pandemic, or allowing bus operators to increase fares to offset the higher costs. We'll be following up with the Ministry of Transport for a response. A Ladyville family is grieving the loss of their son, brother, and common-law husband. 30-year-old Daryl Humes was in an accident that is early on Saturday morning. He took his life and landed 2 others in the hospital. By all accounts, Humes was a hard-working father trying to build a home for his family. But all his best laid plans disappeared this past weekend. Courtney Menzies spoke to his father.
30-year-old Darnell Humes was a father of 2 young children who will now have to grow up without their father after he was killed in a road traffic accident. Humes was heading north on the Philip Golson Highway around 2:45 on Saturday afternoon when he collided with an SUV. According to police, 3 people were involved in the accident, and the other 2 are currently hospitalized.
The officers responded, and upon their arrival, they observed 2 vehicles, namely a Ford Explorer and a Ford Escape, both with extensive damage. Observed in the Ford Escape was an unconscious male person who was later identified to be Humes. Also observed on the scene of the accident were Laura Budna and Eric Tillett, both of whom were traveling on board the Ford Explorer and both of whom had injuries to their body. A review of the scene of the accident suggests that Humes, who was on board the Ford Escape, was traveling from the direction of Belize City to Orange Walk, and the other vehicle was traveling in the opposite direction. Due to the fact that the collision occurred in the left lane when heading in a northern direction, it is suspected that the Ford Escape veered into the other lane, resulting in the collision.
And right after the accident, it was Humes' own sister giving medical attention to the victims before she realized he was involved. According to their father, she was heading up the highway when she saw the accident and decided to help.
It said something just clicking in her mind, so she told the officers, I'm a nurse, maybe I could assist. So that then the police said, okay, if you're a nurse. So she drove in, got to the accident site, and she said, well, female was out on the ground. She flew out of the vehicle. My son was alone. So she ran to the female. As he saw her right away, he gave some assistance, right? So when she realized that this person was in and out, then somebody said somebody like the other vehicle. So she ran to the other vehicle, because when she realized there was a female alive, so she ran to the other vehicle. And so she jumped in from the passenger side. So she started to check the person's pulse and everything. And he realized no pulse. So she touched the person's head and thing. Because my son he never had dreadlocks, but he had a hair plait all the time, right? So when she touched it, when she realized that her brother, she called me and said, Darnell dead. We couldn't believe it. Your man like you want to get crazy. You come and law wife, can't live with you, right? Yeah, because try to build a little house at an hour, but a second time, we got a big house. I got a spare room and all,
And Humes' father explained that he was working hard to build that house, and his boss agreed. He said that everyone who visited only had kind words to say about his son.
Darnell was one of the guys, if you don't see him, you don't know you're wrong. You could have only party right there, and Darnell on the corner by himself. He was a very sociable person. but he got a tendency to be quite like myself. He was a very friendly person. But some people, I had visits from several of them, and they're like, oh, man. Darnell was a very humble person. He boss come and I say, man, so that was one of the best worker, you know. He will come with something real positive about him. First time, it was something like this hit me, you know, so it was very hard. My daughter cried, you know, so much. My daughter's eyes and puff. But we get in and just kind of believe sitting and take with situation with if you do the autopsy and that sort of thing. Then I release the death certificate till I get autopsies and all that done, you know.
Humes' children are 4 and 5 years old. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
Till it is in a stable condition, while Budna is in a critical condition. Police say several beverages were in the vehicle. However, ASP Smith explained that reports are that they were taking crates of unsold drinks from an establishment. An NIP has not been served as yet. Yesterday, Miss Universe Ivory Coast Olivia Yasse landed in Belize. She was one of the top 5 finishers in the recent Miss Universe pageant, and she's here to visit Miss Universe Belize Isabella Zabini, who she befriended at the pageant. After they posted an exuberant selfie, the image was picked up by a local news site where a commentator identified as tour guide Alex Mess referred to Yasse using a racially derogatory term. The comment quickly stirred outrage on social media, getting a rise out of many persons. At a media session this morning, we asked Yasse alongside Miss Universe Belize Isabella Zabini how they felt about the comment and the public outrage.
Belize is a melting pot. And in my final answer on the Miss Universe Belize stage, I literally said we need to let that pot melt. I wasn't even angry. It was simply disappointment, especially coming from a tour guide. And what people did not realize is while it was racist towards one of us, it was racist towards the both of us. I was identified as a tourist, and I won't even mention what she was identified as. And just the frustration of knowing that somebody in Belize who I have represented would say such a thing was a big frustration and disappointment for me, especially since I've spoken and been so vocal about the issue before.
There was always going to be, you know, hate or people who have negative things to say about you. And that's also something that I always want to teach the young girls is that despite what life throws at you, you have to keep going. You always have to see the positive side of things and the bright side of things and understand that sometimes people project and that's okay. And that's not something that you have to put on yourself, but instead give love back. I'm a Christian, so I do believe in giving grace to people. But again, the most important is to give love back and you know, life continues regardless.
How much of a bad impression has this left on you about Belize, if any at all?
Not at all, not at all. You know, like I said, I love Belize. I've had an amazing welcome. The people here are so nice. So you can't base an experience on one person or on one bad thing that happened. So I'm still very happy to be here and I'm still very excited.
And some would offer that Miss made a mess with his comments. We contacted the tour guide, who said that when the comment was made, he was completely drunk.
Yesterday, I was going through a family issue with my wife. And then currently, we were actually having a dispute, and I was like under the influence early in the morning, and that actually affected me. And then after a family dispute, and I'm not in my correct state of mind, so I just see a post and then I did a comment, but the comment that I did, I never knew it was going that far. I thought it's just a comment, and after a while when that happened, I didn't check on my phone until not 8 o'clock at night when I kind of come back to my state in mind, because I was like under the influence yesterday, and by the time I opened my media, my page, I see a lot of cyber attack coming through my messenger, and I have friends and colleagues and families messaging me directly.
The things that you said when you were drunk, would you not agree with me that that's how you feel when you're sober, but when you're under the influence, you're more inclined to saying how you feel?
Yes. So when I was like when I did write the comment, I was just scrolling through, and then I made a comment, and then from there I never opened my phone until not until 8 o'clock at night when I saw people are backlashing me with cyber. I thought people might be looking at me personally, and I don't want people to to give me that bad attitude. So it's like I was stuck in my after work. I stuck like right in my house right now, and then I'm just afraid to come. I mean, like I feel ashamed to come out on each corner. So
So if you did not get backlash, you would have left the comment there.
well, most fortunately, maybe, but then some people will still be checking me, and then I might immediately take down the comment as well because I know it doesn't really sound that proper.
But do you understand why the comment was wrong?
Yes, yes,
What do you understand about it?
the way how I express it, but I wasn't taking it directly like insulting someone. I was just like making a little fun, but instead of fun, it went farther.
And drunkenness surely doesn't excuse anyone for being blatantly racist. But Mess said that he doesn't believe that one comment should cause him to have his license revoked.
Would you be concerned if you lost your license?
Well, pretty much I'm concerned right now, but then I wouldn't want it to happen because then I've been in this industry for 11 years, and just for one comment, I don't think so. It shouldn't be the way, because then if you notice like other very like other different crimes, it also it also have pardon and stuff like that. So which is one comment I did. I should say it's people can understand, because then one comment is just a comment, and then I do ask for apology.
Okay, so what you're saying to me is that you were blatantly racist, and so racism should be forgiven as long as someone apologizes for how it affected them.
Yeah, I know, but then I didn't take it that way. But then it went so viral that it went like under the name racism. It was so that's why I did took it down right away.
So in your mind, that's not racism. You weren't being racist.
No, no, I don't have those in my mind, because when it comes to my tour, I exclude racism, I exclude politics and religion.
We reached out to the director of tourism, who said that the matter is currently under review. After the break, he was accused of killing his brother and his wife and then taking a picture with their bodies. But Miguelito Encalada tells the court that it wasn't him. And Miss Ivory Coast and Miss Belize held a first-of-its-kind confidence-building session for young girls today. Don't go away.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
When the job calls, you need a truck that works as hard as you do. Strong, reliable, and built for the load. The Jack Freight Truck gets the job done. From the lumberyard to the work site, power your business with confidence. I can count on Jack to get the job done right.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best, darling. Double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my smart plan, want it right now. Me want my smart plan, want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my smart plan, want it right now. Smart. Stay connected, stay happy.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention.
No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
The government says Honorable Lee Mark lied. Here are the facts. Since taking office in March 2025, not one single resident of Mesopotamia was recommended by him under the housing program. Area representatives don't approve homes. They recommend names. He was never asked, never consulted, never included. The homes they're bragging about, approved before he took office. So why the attack? Because they don't want you asking the real question. They promised homes at $30,000, then said $60,000. Now the truth, over $110,000 per home. That's a massive increase. This isn't about Lee Mark. It's about your money and the truth.
I'm Randall Friesen and I manage Westwell Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high quality, locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
This Easter, don't just drive, upgrade your ride. From March 26th to April 2nd, Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited is bringing you a big Easter giveaway you don't want to miss. Buy any Gitti, Boto, or Hifix tires and get a free t-shirt or cap. Just like that. We're talking high-performance tires, built for the road, built for Belize, and built to last. So whether you're hitting the highway or just upgrading your daily drive, this is your moment. Visit us on Philip Golson Highway, Belize City, or call us at 223-0490. That's 223-0490. Enrique Martinez and Sons Limited. Never settle for just good enough. Settle for the very best.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention.
No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
In April of 2023, well-known Ladyville barber Miguel Encalada was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife, Desiree Elizabeth Gonzalez, and his brother, 25-year-old George Vincent Rochester. It was an inexplicable double murder of family members that stunned the Ladyville community, especially after he seemed to take a selfie with the bodies. 3 years later, his double murder trial concluded earlier today before Justice Candice Nanton, and it ended with Encalada professing total innocence. In a doc statement, he claimed that on the night of the incident, he was inside his establishment drinking and fell asleep, but awoke to the sound of gunshots being fired. He says a gunman entered his home and demanded that he lie on the ground, and the assailant then proceeded to burglarize the place, taking around $7,000 to $800,000 that is dollars while on the ground. That's when he claimed that he also saw his wife and brother lying next to him unresponsive. Encalada closed off his statement saying, "I have nothing to do with my common-law wife Desiree murder or my brother's death. I am an innocent man to this crime. I will leave it at that." As many as 20 witnesses were called to testify. We note that Encalada also owns a 9mm pistol registered to him in November 2022, predating the murders. The firearm expert who also testified in the trial told the court that ballistic records show Encalada's licensed firearm matched the fragments found at the murder scene. Justice Stanton is expected to give her decision on the matter until May 22nd of 2026. Encalada is represented by attorney Earl Hamilton. Tonight, a fisherman is on remand for kissing an 18-year-old girl on her cheek without her consent. He is 34-year-old Oliver Sutherland, who pleaded not guilty to the charge of sexual assault. The victim, who is also a student, told police that on Monday, March 23rd, Sutherland picked her up from off the Philip Golson Highway and after a circle asked her for a kiss. She refused, but he forcefully pulled her head closer to his and kissed her on her left cheek. The victim then escaped from the vehicle by jumping out in front of Leo Bradley Library and went to make her report at the Queen Street Police Station. Sutherland was escorted to the Belize City Magistrates Court to appear before Senior Magistrate Manon Dennison. The prosecutor objected to bail upon receiving credible information that Sutherland had sent threats to the victim and argued that granting bail would put the victim at risk. Sutherland's attorney Leroy Banner submitted to the court that his client could be given bail with conditions which he would be abiding by. But the senior magistrate was not convinced. Sutherland was remanded into custody at the Belize Central Prison until May 14th. Last week, we reported on the attempted rape of a 76-year-old in the Ladyville Lords Bank area. She fought off her attacker, but the residents of Green Estate, where it happened, have been spurred into action. They point to other attacks in the area and fear a serial rapist is on the prowl in their community. This weekend, they focused on improving the community's security with a major cleanup on Sunday where mostly women came out to help. Jo Marie Lanza has this story.
Green Estate. It is the site of an attempted rape of a 75-year-old woman who fought off her attacker. Area residents who say that 2 more women were also attacked took on their own initiative to clean up the area and make it less of a harboring ground for a rapist they feel is lurking in their neighborhood.
A group of us live in Green Estate, and what has been happening recently, there's a rapist on the loose. And the last, I think a few days ago, there was a news item where an elderly woman was attacked, but she escaped, which was lucky for her. And that occurred inside the entrance of Green Estate. Well, anyway, we have always been concerned as residents in Green Estate about the crime in the area. And so as a result of this situation, we said, you know what, let's get up and start work together as a community and try see how we can assist. What happened is the entrance to Green Estate was not properly maintained. There's a lot of bush and trees and there was the gate that wasn't really in operation. It wasn't a manned position. And as such, we have had cases where somebody would close the gate. And then at night, if you have to drive in, you have to get out of your vehicle to open the gate. And that means that's like an ambush, right? So we removed the gate and we started to clean up. We did a great job yesterday. I took 5 of my workmen. I have an engineering company. So I took up 5 of my workmen yesterday. And I think about 10 or 11 residents, mostly women, came out. I'm really proud of those ladies. They did a great job. I'm like 4:35. We finished majority of the work. That is just phase 1.
Usher says that while the police are doing their part, they have to pitch in as residents as well and work to improve the safety of the community.
One of our efforts is there's already a booth at the gate. So we will then gather as much of our residents and we will fund the establishment of a man booth at that point. Put up things like cameras, put up more lighting. And like I said, we are coordinating with the developer and hopefully we get his full support as far as making sure that the shrubs and the grass and everything is always kept at bay. The most important thing right now, and this is the reason I'd asked for the coverage, is because there's a rapist in that area and this guy is dangerous. The report is he is using a gun. We don't know if it's a fake gun or a real gun. It's his third, he's on to his 4th victim. You see? And obviously he won't stop. Now all of his activity has been in the day. So he's not a nightmare, he's a daymare, right? But people have to be aware. It appears that he looks for victims people who come off the bus, whether they enter Green Estate or whether they continue up towards Lord's Bank. But he's out there, and it could be that more than one of them is out there, right? The police, they're doing their best. We're in communication with the police, but I'm appealing to everybody in that area. Pay attention to what's going on. If you see something, say something, call the hotline or whatever. We're doing our part as residents of Lord's Bank.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
Police have so far made no arrests. On Saturday, Sartaneja villagers staged a protest because they say a PUP minister is trying to parcel off their village's seafront property. And in fact, one such transaction has already had to be reversed. Jo Marie Lanza has more.
In September, the Sartaneja Alliance for Conservation and Development sent Natural Resources Minister Cordell Hyde a letter expressing concern that there was, quote, land grabbing of public spaces within the Wari Bight area. They note that, quote, several public designated areas within this site, specifically road reserves intended to provide access to the seashore, have been surveyed and are now in the process of being privatized. They point to two specific cases of concern: a proposed public road access reclassified as Lot 1955 and a public access road located between lot number 85 and lot number 86. We saw that there was also a title issued to Shana Castaneda of Santa Clara for parcel 1955. The issuance of the title has incensed Sartaneja villagers, and on Saturday a group of them went to Wari Bight to protest and protect their sea frontage.
Some of the people, as you guys can see, this whole land that is called, they call it a pit here, where you can get a lot of minerals such as gravel, stones, limestones to fill up roads and stuff. But you know what, it does belong to the government, but what belongs to the government belongs to the people. But yet some people in the government are trying to convert it to property to benefit their own selves, their family members. And this is kind of the problem that they're having here in Sartaneja, in these areas.
On the 1st of March, one of the villagers had a confrontation with PUP politician Ramiro Ramirez at the Marl Pit, which they also fear is being speculated upon to be sold. The community is also concerned about 5 other lots allegedly marked out on the seafront in the beach reserve. That has led to a petition the village council and other authorities demanding that they, 1, stop all permits for private acquisition or gating of existing public pathways to the beach. 2, seize any proposed acquisitions currently in process and make null and void those that have already been issued. So far, the Ministry of Natural Resources has confirmed that the title for Lot 1955 has been reversed and has been restored as public land, and the same for lots number 55 and 56. But the abiding suspicion that the hidden slice of paradise will be cut up and parceled out to special interests just won't go away.
And like they said, it is being used, or they're being trying to apply to make it into land property for benefit of the government officials, their selves, personal selves, and their families and cronies, not for the benefit of the town, of the peoples, of the villagers, of the constituency.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
We note that our archives show that the owner of parcel 1955, Jania Castaneda, is also the major shareholder in RJC Auto Parts and Heavy Equipment, which we identified in early 2021 as receiving multiple contracts from MIDH. She is known as a close political affiliate of PUP area rep for Corozal Southwest, Ramiro Ramirez. 3 people have been arrested and charged after they were discovered in possession of 8.9 grams of crack cocaine. According to police, however, it was a robbery committed by one of those persons that led to the discovery of the drugs. ASP Smith gave us the details.
Police are in the process of levying a charge of robbery against Sherman Rodney, a 35-year-old Belizean of Antelope Street Extension. This impending charge follows police's investigation into a report of a robbery made by a 22-year-old female who reported that on Sunday, March 29, 2026, at approximately 12:05 a.m., she was walking on Antelope Street Extension when she was robbed by a male person who brandished a knife and demanded that she handed over phone, cash, and jewelry that were in her possession. The male person, before making good his escape, is reported to have kicked the female. An investigation was launched, which included a review of the police cameras located in that area where useful information was obtained. As a consequence of this, some 4 hours after the incident, police executed a search warrant at a property on Antelope Street Extension. This search resulted in the discovery of several items that are believed to be the property of the female. As a consequence of this, Mr. Rodney was informed of the reason of his arrest, namely robbery. Also emanating from that search was the discovery of 8.9 grams of suspected crack cocaine. As a consequence of this, Rodney, along with 2 others, namely Jenner Stewart, 26 years old, and Vincent Tillett, 24 years old, were jointly charged for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply to another.
Another accident occurred in Ladyville on Friday morning that left a motorcyclist in the hospital. This one happened at the airport junction, which is one of the most accident-prone intersections in the country. ASP Smith told us more.
Police have served a notice of intended prosecution on 47-year-old Tashira Wagner as a consequence of an investigation into a road traffic accident, which has resulted in the injury of 27-year-old Rodwell Jeban of Belize City. The investigation commenced on Friday, 27 March at approximately 11:45 a.m. when officers attached to the Ladyville Police Formation were advised of a collision between a motorcycle and an SUV. What the investigation has suggested so far is that both Jeban and Wagner were traveling on board their separate vehicles, namely Miss Wagner on board an SUV and Mr. Jeban on board a motorcycle, in the direction of Ladyville to Belize City. It is suspected that Miss Wagner sought to make a left turn into Sky's restaurant, and at that time Mr. Jeban may have been trying to overtake. This resulted in a collision which Mr. Jeban has suffered several degrees of injuries, for which he is now hospitalized in a critical condition.
The government of Belize still has not decided what it plans to do with the Cuban medical brigade presently in Belize. Latest figures from the Ministry of Health and Wellness say that the brigade comprises 94 persons, 37 medical doctors, 47 nurses, 8 technicians, and 2 administrators. Removing them from their posting would likely cause a system-wide shock to the public health system, especially in rural areas where they are deployed. As we have reported, Belize and other Caribbean and Latin American nations have been under U.S. pressure to end the medical cooperation program because the Trump administration believes that it funds the Cuban communist government. U.S. News reports say that the Trump administration is offering incentives such as infrastructure modernization to countries that kick out Cuban doctors. In recent months, Guatemala, Paraguay, the Bahamas, Guyana, and Jamaica have bowed to U.S. pressure and sent home Cuban doctors. We'll take a second break now. When we come back, we'll take you inside the confidence building session for girls hosted by Miss Ivory Coast and our very own Miss Belize.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Oh gosh, I'm say, the fretting up of the year of flexing. I'm say,
in a democracy, what is good for the government cannot be bad for the people. And what is good for the people cannot be bad for the government.
We came a long way. It's like over 16 years that it was basically like 2-3 houses in that area.
It was wild.
One high boat
like jungle. I take me lick. Say no water, no light. I tell her no worry about that. We have figured it out.
You know, you wonder how long it will take for this to happen.
A year ago, you were considered squatters.
We made a picado and we came in.
I'm a teenager.
Everybody said it was swamp. When we get in here, it was like gold.
Today, you're landowners.
This that for we, and we proud of this. Now we're claiming our house on the land.
We have worked so hard to make this happen for us.
This is a beautiful day, folks, because we are taking care of the people who have taken care of us. Because we wouldn't be here today without you.
Belize is leveling up. We're moving from a bunch of IDs in endless forms to one secure, smart way to prove who you are. The National ID will give you your own unique number, a protected population register, and faster verification, so things actually get done quicker. It's built with privacy, transparency, and inclusion because this system is for everyone. Have something to say? Join the public consultation.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, ensuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, ensuring you from life's unexpected.
Kite flying is fun, but it can also be dangerous. Fly kites safely by following these tips. Never use wire, metallic thread, or wire-reinforced strings. You could be electrocuted. Remember, even a safely built kite can cause a power outage if it gets caught in a power line. Always use paper, plastic, or wood to build kites. Never fly kites near power lines, in the path of traffic, aircrafts, or near highways. Always fly kites with a responsible adult in open areas, in dry weather, and with clear visibility. Never attempt to remove your kite from a power line. Always call BEL at 0800-235-2273 if your kite gets caught in a power line. Belize Electricity Limited. We care about your safety.
In the heart of Belize, a battle is being waged, not with weapons, but with choices. When waste is disposed of in unauthorized locations, in our forests, drains, and waterways, along our highways, and in vacant lots, this is illegal dumping. The consequences reach far beyond what we see. Toxic chemicals seep into our groundwater, threatening our drinking water. Disease-carrying mosquitoes breed in abandoned tires, and wildlife mistake our waste for food. For over a decade, the Department of Environment has worked tirelessly to clean up these sites. But they can't do it alone. They need your help. And now, taking action is easier than ever. Download the ArcGIS Survey 123 app to your phone. You can report illegal dump sites. The app records the location, allows you to add photos. Simply open the app, allow location access, fill in basic details about the site, add a photo, and submit. Your report helps us protect our communities and natural resources. Every report matters. Every action counts. Stand proud in protecting our nation. Our beliefs, our responsibility. Bini.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m., en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Belize has two new ambassadors from two of its strongest allies, Mexico and Taiwan. Today, Governor General Dame Froila Zalam received letters of credence from two newly appointed ambassadors to Belize. They are Amino Chi, Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and Ana Luisa Vallejo Barba, Ambassador of the United Mexican State. Both presented their credentials at the Belize House in Belmopan. According to a release, the ambassadors each expressed their hopes of forging stronger bonds with Belize during their tenure. Today, 25 teenagers gathered for a powerful encouragement session with Miss Universe Belize, Isabella Zabani, and special guest Miss Universe Africa and Oceania 2025, Olivia Yassi. The session was aimed at building confidence and self-acceptance in young girls. Jaleesa Roberts attended the filed this report.
This morning, a session in the Belize City Hall caucus room brought together 25 bright-eyed, eager, and aspiring young women in a space designed to uplift them. The event, called the Confidence Room, was hosted by Miss Universe Belize Isabella Zabané and visiting Miss Universe Côte d'Ivoire, Olivia Yasse. Through open conversation and personal stories, the two pageant title holders addressed the challenges many young girls face in society that often erodes their sense of self-worth. We spoke with Zabané, who explained the event hosted under her nonprofit, Project Royalty.
So one of the things that I absolutely love about my nonprofit, Project Royalty, is that it looks at issues that every person experiences at some point in their life. And that was one of the things that me and Olivia connected on. Because loving the skin you're in can very often be hard. Everybody at some point experiences struggling with their identity and their security. And so that's what we want to tackle. That's what we want to face today. So I'm really excited for the young women to be able to experience this session. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. And it's really special for me to be able to share this with Olivia. It's more than just us talking to a bunch of girls, really and truly. This is what our heart and our mission and our purpose is. And so it's really bringing that message of hope and inspiration to young women. And inspiration is only inspiration until it's applied. So this session is going to be the application of everything we learn.
The two women connected at the Miss Universe pageant in 2025, with Yasse being the fourth runner-up, with many pageant supporters arguing that she deserved the top spot based on her responses. But with that pageant behind her, Yasse gave the girls some inspiration by amplifying the importance of identity.
Well, I have a slogan called Assume Your Identity, and it is about loving yourself, loving your skin, loving your background, who you are, and it's something that I think everybody faces at some point in their lives because people don't usually love who they are or they have, insecurities. So assuming your identity is about being able to accept who you are, despite your background, despite what you've been going through in life, and making sure you use that as your advantage and bring that light to other people.
This is the first of its kind for any Miss Universe Belize, but Zabané says this is their purpose.
Well, I think for me, advocacy and passion for people has always been the most important part of pageantry. And so through this initiative, like I said, this is one of the things we connected on because it is our passion for people. It is our purpose. And I think to the combination of our organizations, my nonprofit, her foundation, it's definitely been something that we're able to do a lot of through the work that we do with a big impact in each place.
For the young participants, this session offered not just inspiration, but practical lessons on navigating criticism and building confidence.
Right now, I feel a bit better because I've always struggled with because people always tell me things and I've received different type of comments since I was smaller, but now I feel a bit more confident and a bit more open-minded, and I know now how to, I've always known, but now I know a little bit more on how to deal with certain situations, and it made me feel a little bit better about myself. One lesson that I can apply to my life is now that I've heard this, I know that I don't have to listen to the opinions that people share because their opinions don't matter. It's what I think about myself, and that's what's important.
Yasse will be traveling around Belize for the remainder of her trip, but the seeds of self-realization that she planted here will surely take root in Belize. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
Project Royalty will host its annual dress drive in the coming weeks. The United Nations Development Programme, in partnership with UNICEF and the Ministry of Rural Transformation, successfully inaugurated 2 projects this past week. These include sanitation and hygiene projects in the villages of Santa Elena and Nalumca in the Toledo district, in addition to digital hubs for the schools in these villages. Here are the highlights from those events.
These investments are there to expand access to safe, reliable water for the families who we call communities. Water is life, and last week at the World Water Day event in San Ignacio, the mayor over there said, "You can live without love, but you can't live without water." Over here. Across Belize, we are proud as UNICEF to have supported and improved water access to 20 villages in the north and southern regions. In rural areas, the urgency is even greater. The impacts of climate change, longer dry spells that we are witnessing, more frequent droughts, and increased water scarcity, they threaten health and deepen existing inequalities. It is the poorest and the most marginalized who often bear the heaviest price. Where you should live should never determine how healthy, how nourished, or how clean you are. Every child within Belize City, Belize, all of Belize, Santa Elena, and other villages, they deserve the dignity of safe drinking water, proper sanitation, and the ability to practice good hygiene.
This digital hub is one of 15 that we have already opened across the country in different communities, and we just came from Santa Elena this morning, where we also opened a digital hub. And you can see it's also powered, and we have solar panels here. Through the Small Grants Program, we have also been supporting 8 communities in the district. And of course, having sustainable energy, having sustainable access to electricity is a very important part of what UNDP does.
A special thanks goes out to the representative of UNICEF and UNDP, Mr. Lun and Mr. Ali, for their organization collaboration in the promoting of a safe and sanitary environment for the villagers. Additionally, for assisting in advancement of education of students here in Santa Elena. I am confident that the villager is beyond grateful to be chosen as part of this initiative.
Also, thank to the UNDP for selecting Nagumka Government School, because they could have chosen another school. Like what Mr. Shal had mentioned, we only have 13 students. But as you can see, it's not because only 13 of us. We have champion speller and champion reader in our school. Right?
Last week, the Statistical Institute of Belize unveiled the GDP estimates for the fourth quarter of 2025. It showed relatively strong growth at 4.7%. This was driven in part by the agricultural sector.
One of the main drivers for this increase was the 19.8% increase in banana from 19,000 metric tons in quarter 4 of 2024 to 22.8 thousand metric tons in quarter 4 of 2025. Another driver for growth was within the marine exports, as we observe a 8.0% increase, as we saw shrimp go up by 6.6% and all other fishing products up by 8.3%, mainly due to lobster tail and lobster meat increasing for the quarter.
The tertiary sector was the largest contributor to economic growth for the period, with a boost from financial and insurance activities, which expanded by 18.0%. Here's more.
We can go to the tertiary sector, which covers the services. This sector totaled $871.9 million, an increase of $38.9 million, or 4.7%, when we compare it to the $833.1 million in quarter 4 of 2024. Within this sector, the industries that contributed to the growth were found in the financial and insurance activities at 18%. We had wholesale and retail trade at 3.8% growth, public administration at 3.7% growth, and accommodation and food services at 3.6% growth. Within the financial and insurance activities, for this quarter, we saw a significant increase in insurance activities of 59%, from $11 million in quarter 4 of 2024 to $17.4 million in quarter 4 of 2025. And this is attributed to the introduction of a new insurance company during the quarter. We had an increase in tourist arrivals of 2.3% for overnight. So from 127.8 thousand arrivals in quarter 4 of 2024 to 130.8 thousand arrivals in quarter 4 of 2025. And then looking at cruise, that was 13.9% increase from 264.7 thousands of arrivals in quarter 4 of 2024 to 301.5 thousands of arrivals in quarter 4 of 2025.
And that's all we have for you for our newscast for tonight. Thanks for watching. with your news. I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsrelease.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great night and join me back here tomorrow at 6.